Hello, everybody. It's Michelle with Pink and Maine. I want to thank you for joining me today. Um, I thought I would go live. It's the first day of fall of 2024. I can't believe it. Even though it's bright and sunny outside here in Florida and super hot too, I'm sure. I haven't ventured out yet today after this morning, but it's the first day of fall. So I thought I would do some fun fall cards and use some of our newer fall products for this year. So let's head on down to the table and we will get started. Hello, Maura. Thanks for joining me today. It's a gorgeous Sunday. I hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday. We're going to make some fall cards. I'm going to turn my Pink and Maine ink machine on. Oops. Didn't like that. It went past and kept going. I'm going to turn it on number 3 because we're going to do a little bit of foiling for these fall cards. So let's grab what we're going to be using. I have a large piece of our watercolor neutral cheer foil. So it's a really weird looking foil when you look at it. It's just like brown and yellow splotches on silver. And you might think, what would I ever use that for? But it turns out gorgeous on fall leaves and anything that you want browns in. It really is pretty. So we're going to use that foil today. And we're using our foliage foilable sheets, and we're also using the coordinating stencil to color it in. So you get 8 sheets in the pack, and we're just going to pull one out here. Put the rest aside. Thanks to everybody that's joining in. I hope you all are enjoying your Sunday. I call it Sunday Fun Day around here. I always come to work on Sunday, but I love it. It's when you love what you do is not work. And quite a few of us are working this weekend, getting all your orders packed up and ready to go out tomorrow from our new release that we just had on Friday. We released our holiday products. I'm also going to be using this a little bit later. This is our fall leaves emboss and cut folder. So if you've never seen these, they're an embossing folder. So I have the embossing part of the leaves here on this side. Let's see if I can get the light right so you can see it. So that's going to emboss the leaves. And then here on this other side is the other part of the embossing in the leaf, but we've got the die that goes around it. So once you run this through, you're going to emboss those leaves, and you're also going to cut them out with one pass through your die cut machine. So that is a lot of fun, and I'll show you a little bit later what we're going to do with the leaf from that. So let's start out first with our foliage foilable sheets. So it looks like this, and you could foil it and just use it as kind of a, little nature background with some leaves and veins there. But we are going to color this in with the coordinating stencil. I'm going to go ahead and brush it off gently with my foil dusting brush just to eliminate any dust or debris, or, I got a little Jack Russell that runs around here sometimes, and he's never up on my crafting table, but you never know where his little white hairs go. So I'm going to put my watercolor neutral foil on top of my foilable sheet, and I want that foil pretty side up, facing pretty side up. So our mini Mink machine has an opening that's 6 1/4 inches wide. So you can put anything through there that will fit in that 6 1/4 inches. But the folders that come with the machine are 6 1/4, about between 6 and 6 1/4 inches by the same. They're square. So if I were to put this foilable in, it's going to hang out a couple of inches on the end because the foilable is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. So what I've done, I'm not going to use the smaller transfer folder that came with the machine. I'm going to use a larger one. So we carry the larger Mink transfer folders, and they're meant for the big Mink machine. So the folders in there, one of them comes, it's like 12 inches by 12 inches. Maybe it's a little larger, I can't remember exactly. But what I do is I cut it in half. And then I get two that are 6 inches wide. And then I don't really need it 12 inches long. So I cut it back by a few inches and I make it 9 inches. So now I have a 6 by 9 inch folder, which is perfect for our larger foilable sheets. So you just take that, and also in that package with the large transfer folders, let me get all my words out right here today. You also get a smaller transfer folder too. So you can make 2 of the longer ones from the big one that's in there, and then you also get a mini transfer folder for the mini mink. So see how that fits in the transfer folder perfectly? So I've got everything covered and we're ready to foil it. I'm going to put the folded side into the machine. And when I'm using these longer folders, I want to support it so it goes straight through the machine all the way through. I'll just hold my hand up underneath it to support it. It's going to take a few extra seconds to go through, of course, because we're doing 9 inches instead of 6 going through the machine. And I don't use this folder for everything. Like I won't use it for my smaller pieces because I don't want to wait any longer than I have to for something to go through the machine. So I'll use the regular shorter folder for all my smaller pieces. Here we go, it's coming through. All right, another thing you want to remember too is to put it nice and straight and even in there so it doesn't get caught in the machine. It's going to be hot when it comes out. I'm just going to take the whole piece out of the folder and set the transfer folder aside. You want your foiled piece to be nice and cool to the touch when you peel the foil back to reveal what you foiled. Now we can go ahead. Very nice. You can always keep your negative foil piece and foil a solid toner sheet with that, and you've got that nice little design in there from the foilable. I'm not going to do that this time, but I have lots of videos on our YouTube channel where I do the negative foiling and show you exactly how to do it. So now, as you can see, isn't that gorgeous? Look at all those browns and golds and silvers in there for those leaves and the veins of the leaves. Very pretty, very pretty. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a beautiful foliage background with this, and we're going to use the stencils to color the panel in. We're going to add some color to it. So I've got the 4-piece stencils here. As you can see, I'm messy and I did not clean them off from the last time I used them, but that's okay. Stencils and dye ink, it's very easy to clean them off. A baby wipe, even, you know, wet paper towel, something like that is fine. I'm going to be using our ink dauber wands. These are by the Maker Session, and we have them, and they are one of my favorite tools for using with stencils. They're super easy to color things in, as you're going to see. I end up using, this is a stencil package insert. I always use these as backgrounds for getting messy. And that way, once it gets messy enough, I can just toss it, and I feel good about the fact that I have used it for something. And I've heard from a few people online that they have trouble lining this stencil up with the foilable. And I want to tell you, if you just put it end to end, it'll line up The top of the foilable paper will go to the edge of the holes in the stencil that are for the binder. So we put 2 holes in our stencils to fit in our storage binder. So if you line the top of it up with the edge of that, everything should line up nicely. And it's a very loose pattern. So even if you get it off a little bit, it's going to look great. It's kind of abstract and different. It's not a perfect thing where everything has to line up perfectly. All right, so I've just got a dark orange ink pad here that I'm going to start with. And these ink daubers are so easy. You see, I just tap them in the ink, and then I tap it on the stencil, and they transfer ink so nicely, quick and easy with very little work here. I like things that are nice and easy. And you can tape your stencil down if you want, or use a sticky mat or something underneath it if you like. If that makes you feel more comfortable, that's fine. I'm a bit of a rebel and I just kind of hold it down with my left hand. And since the ink dauber wands they're really just tapping on here, I'm not shifting the stencil around in any way. Look, that literally took seconds. I'm going to lift the stencil away and put it out of the way. And there we have our first layer. Got nice, like dark orange berries. I'm going to watch this somewhat simple pattern foilable become a beautiful colored background in just minutes. Next, I'm going to take our construction ink pad, which is our orange. It's a lighter orange than the one I was just using. It also, I've been asked to, what order do you do the stencils in? And it really doesn't matter. They each color different parts of the sheet, and so it really doesn't matter what order you do them in. Okay, so this lighter orange color is going to color the bigger floral pieces on the background. And the ink dauber wands, you just tap and go. And it gets into all the smaller crevices. My friend Yoli that brought these to market, she found them because she found that she really liked this instead of the, I don't know if you know the little sponge daubers that you could stick on your fingers, like you could put your finger in it and it had a little sponge on the end. Well, she never liked those little finger things that you had to put your finger in there. So she thought this is something, still got the nice sponge on the end, but it's got a nice handle that you can hold. And the sponges on the end of these are a little denser too. They hold a lot of ink and they transfer a lot of ink really nicely. Okay, so now I've done the bigger flowers. Let's pull that one away and set it aside. And there we go. See how it's coming together? We're starting to create like a really pretty colored background. All right, next we're going to use Lakeside, which is our teal color ink pad. Oh, hi, Libby, Leslie, Sharon, Patty, everyone that's joining me today. Thank you so much for joining in on this lovely Sunday. So we're going to use the next stencil. As I mentioned, there's no order you need to go in when coloring this background in. And I'm just going to line it up edge to edge. Put the foilable right at the edge of the hole that goes for the binder. Actually, I'm going to move this one up a little bit because I can see, well, let's see. Let's put it right where this one doesn't, this one goes up. Oh. There we go. I'm just lining it up the best I can with the leaves and how I want it to look. Like I said, it's a very loose pattern, so you could shift it and move it a little bit, and it doesn't really matter. We can put it right there. There we go. It would work in a couple positions. I didn't want to make it too brown and orange and dreary fall. I wanted this pop of teal in there that I like with fall colors. I think it really adds a brightness to it. And if you hear any noises in the background, I apologize. We have a couple of our team members here today. They wanted to come in and get all of your new release orders moving and flowing so we could get them out bright and early tomorrow morning when the mail comes. And with our new release that we had on Friday, with lots of all our new holiday items, and we have a new incentive stamp set, so you want to grab that while you can. It's our September mug. Oops, I shifted the stencil. I'll just shift it back a little. Like I said, I'm a rebel. I don't tape it down in place. Just kind of hold on to it and tap and go. Yes, and here soon I'll do some more videos with the holiday products. I thought today is the first official day of fall. I would do something fall themed. But as I mentioned in the beginning, here in Florida, we're not feeling fall yet. I don't think we really have a fall here, to tell you the truth. But I can enjoy fall with my paper crafting. I can enjoy the beautiful leaves and colors of fall in my card making. Here we go. It's coming together. We've got one more color to do. And we'll have a beautiful foliage. I always have trouble with that word. I want to call it foliage or foliage panel. All right, we've got the last one here. And we're going to do this one with the park. And the park color is like a lime green, nice light green. I'm going to put my lakeside away so I don't stick my hand in it and get ink everywhere. and also in doing this, just a tip. So I'm right-handed. So I'm starting on the left-hand side of the panel, and I'm moving my way right. And that way I don't stick my hand in the ink that I've already put down. And that's just one of those, hey, you live and learn, because I've done that before. And you go, hey, why didn't I start on the other side? I've just smudged my arm all across the work I just did. Now our foilables paper is super, super smooth, almost glossy in a way, but it will take the ink. You can ink blend on it with your dye ink pads. It may take a few extra minutes to dry, so sometimes I set it aside and let it dry before I touch it or work with it too much. Yes, this set of stencils and foilable sheets are very forgiving, very easy to line up, because you don't have to line it up too perfectly. You can really be kind of loosey-goosey, as I will say, with it. But see, there we go. We've done all 4 of our colors. I always try to get it in the light where you can see that beautiful foil in there too. And you just get a really pretty background. And now this is 8.5 by 5.5, so you could get 2 A2 size cards. Because of the stencil and the size, you will have a little edge here on each side that might not get the color exactly on all those leaves that are right there on the edge. But you can always go in, especially with like this ink dauber one, I can just go right there and take that green color off the edge there and finish those couple of leaves that kind of go off the side. Or you could just cut that little strip right off. So I'm going to move the dauber wands because they're inky, and I will get my arm in that for sure. And I'm going to put the ink pad away. And then we're going to make a couple of cards with the background that we just made. There we go. One more look at the background. It's nice, pretty, but also kind of bright fall colors. I like that. I like bright colors. Always drawn to brighter colors. So I'm going to pull out the parts and pieces for our first card. And for the first card, we're going to make a shaker card. And with the magic of video, I've already cut my panel. Woohoo! I made one before, of course, and cut it down to size. I didn't think you want to sit through chopping papers and such, but I cut it down to fit inside our small A2 shaker cover. I've got a scalloped rectangle cut out to go on the background. This is from our Wildflowers cardstock, nice dark orange. So we'll make the shaker card after we do our foiling for the other parts of the card. I also have some of our twine in the construction color. And we're going to foil 2 other pieces for this card, and I can fit them both in the smaller transfer folder. We're going to do a Hello Autumn, and this is from our Fall Leaves foilable cut-ups, which have nice leaves and fall sentiments that are already cut out and ready for you to foil. And then I'm going to foil a piece of black toner sheet. It's just one of our solid black toner sheets, and I am going to dust that off because I can see dust particles sitting on it, and if I see them, I know they're going to interfere with my foiling. Don't want anything to be in between the foil and the foilable, because we want all of that foil to adhere to the toner print. And normally when I do smaller pieces like this in the transfer folder, I like to flip it over to the back, and that way I can make sure each piece is fully covered by the foil and that they're not overlapping. And then you can put it right in where you can see that they're not moving around or anything. You can put the transfer folder right side up or upside down, it doesn't matter. It has 2 heated rollers inside, so you're going to get nice even heat and pressure. Here we go. All right, so I can remove these from the folder, but I'm not going to peel the foil just yet. We're going to let that cool off. I showed you when we first started that we were going to use the embossing cut, the Fall Leaves embossing cut folder, and this is one of the leaves I cut from our The Park cardstock. So it's that lime green that matches the ink, and you can see that nice embossing that's on the leaf. So one run through your die cut machine and you've got a nice embossed and die cut leaf. And there's 4 different leaves in the folder. You could use the back or the front of them. So this one, the back kind of shows the veins a little more, like they're embossed and raised, whereas the other side, they're debossed, I guess you could say. So either side will work. So now we're ready to peel and reveal, my favorite part of foiling. So I am using Fairy Wings Blue for my Hello Autumn sentiment, and then I've got the sentiment cut out of the foil, so I could put that on a solid toner sheet and use that again. So we always save our negative foil pieces. And as I mentioned, I've got lots of foiling videos where we use those negatives. Look how gorgeous that is. So how easy is that? Your sentiment is pre-cut, ready to foil and go. Now let's check our little sheet of black. This was a black toner sheet, and I'm using Fairy Wings Peach. So it's kind of a peachy copper color, but it's got that holographic. All of our Fairy Wings colors have a holographic shine to them. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. So glad I dusted that off. And now we have a complete, beautiful foil. I've used up this piece of foil, so we can discard that. Although if you're really thrifty, you can always use the edges of the foil on your smaller sentiments and such. You can use every little bit of that foil for sure. Okay, so we're going to start to assemble our card. I've cut a piece of, it's a Lakeside pattern paper. Trying to think of my words. Come on now, Michelle. And this is from, oh, I believe it's from the Hello Fall paper pad that we came out with in August. And I'm just going to layer that on top of that foiled piece. So I just want little strips of that foil showing, and that's going to pick up and complement the foil that's on our foilable background. So I'm going to adhere these two together. And then I'm gonna put some twine on here. I wanted some twine. We'll go across the bottom maybe. So what I do with my twine is I put some adhesive on the back on two sides. And then I'm just gonna put my twine and kind of wrap it around the back and stick it in that adhesive. There we go. So that piece will be ready to add to the top of the card in just a moment. We've got to put our shaker pocket together. And that's super easy. Gonna grab our pick up and place tool. It has a pokey tool on one end. That's what I call it. It's real sharp little pokey tool. What else can you call that? I'm gonna just kind of poke and push at the corner of my shaker pocket on the top where it says remove protective film. And that's the easiest way I've found to get that protective film to come off. So you see, you just pull that clear protective piece from the top of the pocket, and it's just there to protect it and to keep it nice and clear and shiny for you with no scratches. The other end of our pick up and place tool has a wax tip on it, which is perfect for picking up like loose gems and pearls and sequins. So I kind of pre-fold my pocket. I pre-fold the flaps that are on all four sides just to kind of get them that crease going there, so it's easier to fold them over when I'm ready. So you fold it towards the back, so the adhesive's on the back, so you fold it towards the back. And then I'm gonna flip it over on the table so my adhesive is facing to the top, okay? And the background piece that we want in our pocket, which is this foliage foilable sheet that we colored, I'm going to flip it over and face it down towards the table also. You're going to get it in the center of your pocket, and the dimensions for that piece are printed on the package label. So it's really easy to know what size to cut this. And then I'm just going to peel one side of the release paper away from the adhesive. Now I want to hold this panel and the pocket flat down on the table. You want everything to be really flat when you're putting it together. So I fold one side over. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the opposite side. All the while I'm holding it flat down to the table with my non-dominant hand, which is my left hand. But if you're left-handed, you do the opposite. And we're just going to remove the release paper and press down that second side. I'm going to turn it again, still holding it flat to the table. We're going to do one more side. So we've done 3 sides total, and you really press that flap closed. And now we have our little shaker pocket. We've got 3 sides closed up. And we have a wide selection of confetti sequins, and these are regular sequins. They were in one of our Crafty Courtyard kits, but we have some that we're selling individually. It's called Sea Glass, but I thought the blues and greens, and there's little peach ones in there also, I thought they drew on the colors in our background kind of nicely. So I'm going to use some of these in the shaker card. And I'm just cutting mine open. They do have a little Ziploc opening on them that you could open up. I have the worst time opening those Ziploc things, and I'm just going to cut it so you don't have to watch me struggle with it for a few minutes. All right, so you can put as much or as little in there I sometimes use about half of one of our packages, or maybe a third of the sequins. Just make sure I don't spill too many. They're a little staticky sometimes. It can stick to your fingers and such. But now that my sequins are in here, I can turn the pocket over to the back again, hold it flat to the table, and take that last piece of release paper from the adhesive flap, and we'll fold that over. And now we've created our shaker pocket. So we've got that nice foiled background in there, some pretty sparkly sequins, everything sparkly and shiny. Okay. We're going to adhere all that down. I'm looking on my table to see where I put my my easy tear double-sided tape, because that's what I want to use to adhere the pocket. But we can go ahead and decorate the pocket before we adhere it down. So on top of the pocket, I'm going to put that strip of foiled paper with the pattern paper. I like to decorate inside the pocket, so we have the foiled background with the coloring that we did with the stencil, and I like to decorate the outside of the pocket too. That way you have interest inside and outside, and it's just all around good looking card. Make sure I get adhesive on my twine too, so everything sticks down nicely. And next, I'm going to add my embossed leaf. And we've got our Hello Autumn. And sometimes I would pop these up with foam tape, but because the shaker pocket is a little thicker, I'm going to go ahead and adhere them down flat, because it's already got some thickness to it with the shaker pocket. Hello Autumn. Now I've got a couple more pieces of twine. This is our construction twines, orange color. And I'm just going to take these few pieces, I slid them underneath the ones that are attached to the back of the paper, and then I just make a simple knot, just one knot, and then all that's left to do is just going to cut a little excess off the ends like that. Okay, so there's that. Now with my twine, I like to kind of pick at the edges, and I say pick at it, but I like to fray the edges just a little bit. So that way I think it just looks nicer with them frayed out a little bit, a little rough looking. There we go. So there's our shaker pocket with our sequins. You saw how simple and easy that was to put together. perfect for fall. Let me get my, I see it. I covered it up with my stencils from earlier. All right, so when adhering these shaker pockets down to your cards, you want to use a really strong adhesive because they've got a little more heft to them than just a couple of pieces of cardstock that you might be adhering in layers on your card. So I'm using our Easy Tear double-sided tape. I've got the 1/4 inch here on my table, so that's what I'm using, but you could also use 1/2 inch if you have that. Actually, I would probably prefer to use the 1/2 inch on this, but I don't have it on my table here. I call it Easy Tear tape because you can just very easily tear it with your hand. It's nice, strong adhesive. Just set that over there. And another nice thing about it is the release paper comes off of it so easily. I get so tired of the double-sided tapes where you pick and you pick and you pick and you pick and you still can't find that darn release paper and get it up. This comes off nice and easy. I like things to be nice and easy, don't you? Don't want to struggle with my paper crafts. It's supposed to be fun and relaxing. All right, so I'm just going to line this up on my scalloped rectangle. Just like so. And that's, I like that it gives just that small scallop border around it. Just that pop of dark orange kind of brings out from the background. And then, of course, I could have adhered the scallop rectangle down to the card first. But this will work just as well. All right. And there's our first card. I love the foil elements, the little sparkle of those sequins in there. And then we've got our embossed leaf. We've got our twines. We've got plenty of dimension, plenty of different textures on here and finishes. It makes an all-around nice looking finished card. All right, and we thought we would make one more card. As I mentioned, that panel is 8.5 by 5.5, so you can definitely get more than one card from it, depending on how you cut your pieces. And also because it's 8.5 by 5.5, you can do 5 by 7 cards, or you could do slimline cards, which are larger. Lots of options there. So we have a few more pieces to foil for our next card. I have some leaves from our Fall Leaves foilable cut-ups. And then I have the sentiment Autumn Greetings. And I've got a couple different foils that I'm going to do these in. I've got our bronze. It's really pretty for fall. I've got our Fairy Wings blue again. I've got some Fairy Wings peach. And I've got glitzy gold. So I thought all of those go nicely together for fall. And they also go nicely with our background that we did. So next is just choosing which piece to do with which color. I think I'm going to do the sentiment again with that Fairy Wings blue. And just like we did before, I'm going to flip it over to the back because we're going to foil several of these pieces all at once. So if you're doing it from the back, you want to put, and you want to have the back or the silver side of the foil showing, and then you take your foilable piece and put the printed side up against that silver. Let's put that on the gold. Now the foils can overlap each other. The foil is not going to stick to the foil. You just don't want your toner pieces overlapping. So as you can see, I have each of my toner printed designs, the cut-ups, they're all separated. They're on their own color foil. Like I said, the foil overlapping is not going to matter. The foil does not stick to each other. So that will be fine. And then again, I support it as I go through with all these little pieces. I don't want to just drop it down and something slide out of place. So hello and welcome to everyone who's joining in. We're making our second fall card. We used our foliage foilable sheets, say that 5 times fast, foliage foilable sheets with the coordinating stencils that color them in, and we created a panel. It's like this. It's got that nice foil, but also nice colors because of those stencils, and we cut it down and we're making a couple of cards. So hopefully you can go back and watch the replay if you're just joining and see the first card. We made a shaker card a few minutes ago. All right, now that these are finished, I'm going to turn the ink off. It has a little hum to it. I'm always surprised at how quiet it gets once I flip that off. All right. I'm going to take our leaves and our sentiment out. I'm not going to peel the foil off just yet. I also am going I've got things falling on me here. I'm also going to take our construction ink pad out and grab my ink dauber wand because I'm going to color our sentiment. So I peeled that away from the foil. Got this beautiful Fairy Wings blue sentiment, and I also have it in the foil. We can use that on a solid toner sheet. But when I put the sentiment against the white on the background, I don't think it pops enough. You know, it doesn't stand out. So I'm going to take my ink dauber wand and our construction ink, and I'm going to color. You can color the foilable pieces after you've foiled them. Look how easy it is just to tap that color on there, totally changing the look. Just like so. And this other end was the darker orange, and I'm going to go around the edge with the dauber wand that we used earlier with the dark orange ink. And I'm just going to darken the edges just a little bit, just by going around the edges. And then I can go back in with my lighter orange and tap and blend those colors out. All right, done with my ink for now. So let's see how that came out. Yeah, so that pops much better to me with the orange. And so you can still see that beautiful blue foil. The dye ink does not stick to the foil. It just sticks to the paper. And you could even wipe with a soft microfiber cloth and get a little bit more ink off of the foil. Like I said, it takes a few seconds to dry on the foilable paper because of the smoothness of the paper. But I like that. All right, now let's take a look at our leaves. We'll do glitzy gold first. Oh, I love that. Let's check out our bronze leaf. Very pretty. And then our fairy wings peach. Oh, just looking at the leaves. There we go, very nice. So set those aside and let's start to put our card together. So I've got one of our A2 pre-scored card bases. This is in our 110-pound ice rink white cardstocks. They're nice sturdy card bases. And I've cut a piece of our pebble cardstock, which is kind of like craft, just a light tan. And I've taken our little scallop border dies and cut one edge with one of those scalloped border dies. So I've got one side that's a nice little scallop and the other one that's straight. So I'm going to adhere that down to the card first. And then I've cut a strip from our foliage foilable sheet. And I cut a slightly wider piece from our Wildflowers dark orange cardstock. And we're going to just put that on top of the pebble. Hope everyone is finding some time to be a little creative this weekend. I know the weekends fly by so fast. Seems like time is flying by so fast. I don't know how it became, I was going to say middle of September. It's past the middle of September now. It's unbelievable. And as I mentioned, I'm enjoying some fall colors with my card making. Not so much as I step outside in the Florida heat. All right, so here's our card base. Got that nice little panel with a little border of orange to make it pop. And our little scalloped edge there for interest. And I'm going to grab some foam tape to adhere our leaves. And our sentiment, I've got our giant 108 feet roll of foam tape. I've been using this one for quite a while during my videos. Doesn't seem to get any smaller. All right, I'm just gonna cut some pieces to go on our back of our leaves. I like that our foam tape, it cuts nice and easy with just regular scissors, as you saw. And the release paper comes off the foam tape just as easy as it does our easy tear double-sided adhesive tapes. Got an extra piece for later. Stick it on my side of my desk there. So now we just need to figure out where we're going to place everything. Just like so. Alright, so now we've got a little foil in the background, some foiled leaves, a foiled sentiment. I do like doing the background of that in the orange. That really makes that stand out. And I've got some of our gold sticky gems, and I thought little accent of those on the card would finish it off quite nicely. You can never have too much sparkle and shine, as I say. And put a few up here by the leaves. There we go. That looks good. Stop while you're ahead, right? There we go. Nice finished autumn greetings card. And here is our other card that we made a little earlier. And my mess too. All right. So thanks so much again for joining me today on this Sunday Fun Day, a little crafting this afternoon. I hope you're enjoying a nice first day of fall wherever you are, and this inspires you to pull out some autumn items from your craft stash and get creating, even if you don't feel like it's fall quite yet outside, as I don't here. But anyway, enjoy your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. And until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life. See you later.